Somebody's flying the Magic Dragonfly. Hi everybody, I'm Bill Whittle here, standing in front of magnificent Port Olisar, here at the heart of the Stanton system. It's a nice place to visit, but I wouldn't want to live here. And I have no idea what the guy in that, whatever that was, the Dragonfly, was doing. Hey, check this out, because yes, I'm talking to you. Go. Go on. Go, go, get out of here. Everybody's got something to say. You. Okay. Nice job. Come here. Come on. Come over here. Still kind of moves around a little bit. It's not great yet, but it's, you know, it's getting there. Never know what could happen. Out here in the 4K world of Star Citizen. I hear sounds. Let's have a look around, shall we? That's Crusader. Right over there, and somebody is flying around up there someplace. Somebody just kind of goofing off on some sort of little adventure. I don't know what's really going on. I just stuck here, wondering what the hell's going on, and kind of, you know, just curious about when I might be able to get the hell off of this damned rock. Oh, look, look, here goes somebody. Watch it, you knucklehead. Hey, how's it going? Oh, look. That is a spaceship. It's a Mustang. I don't particularly like them, but, you know, not everything for everybody. Somebody's going to get in that thing and fly away in just a moment. So let's get a close-up look, shall we? So, yeah, that way if somebody decides to, you know, come in and check out the place, we'll know what to do. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to recalibrate. Watch this. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And we'll do that. Do I look any better? How about now? No. It's made me sad. Let's recalibrate again. Yeah, there we go. All right, so we're just going to hang out here for a few... Holy cow! Oh, Jesus Christ, it's a vandal! Now, obviously, if I was... Oh, I don't like the sound of this at all. Here comes somebody. Oh, check it out. Here comes a pilot. I'll just wave to him even though he's behind me. Yes! That's the spirit. Get up there. Fight these guys. Kick their asses! Oop. Good luck out there. Go get him! So anyway, back to the show. Well, now, that's something I just recorded a whole 19 minutes ago, something like that. Just live out there on the deck in Stanton, and I have mixed feelings about this because I did that
live. I did it in. I don't care what Louder with Crowder is doing. These guys are 15 years behind the times. What you just saw is the future of conservative commentary. And the thing that's heartbreaking is just without any camera work, without any cuts, without any edits, filming myself, random stuff going on in the background, it looked pretty good. And the part that's heartbreaking about all that is if, all of the stuff and all the money and all the stuff I've been waiting for and all the stuff I've been working on for years and years now, a year and a half, pretty much gone if you need it. So that's what you call a machinima. And that technology is built into the game now. That's the first time I played with it somewhat seriously. Yes, Sounds in Space. I had a problem with Sounds in Space too, and then I realized that no, the artificial intelligence in your suit is putting sounds where they're supposed to be to give you all the cues that you're supposed to need. See, that's how it works. Likewise, when you fly through the Star Citizen universe, you'll see, even though you're flying through just regular space, you'll see like little reference dots. It's like they don't look like stars, like you're flying through stuff to give you a sense of speed and direction. And those are also generated by your flight suit in order to give you better visual cues. See how easy it is? The harder part is figuring out why the targeting systems, the scanners go all the way out to a whole 10 kilometers. Anyway, so yeah, I just shot it, and I shot it just in time to shoot it, transfer it, get it up into the Stratosphere Lounge, so I haven't had a chance to do anything with it. But the new release of the game coming out to the first wave of testers, the Evocati, I think this week, has got something pretty cool, and that's called character facial DNA, and what that means is that instead of that generic face, which is one of 6 or 9 faces you get to choose from, you'll be able to. My understanding, there's a little confusion about this, is you'll be able to pick 4 of many different faces you want to, slide them around and morph them, and so basically I'll be able to build any face I want to, and now I'm actually deeply conflicted because I want to get started on this stuff, and that just showed me one take, first time out of the gate, with self camera work and so on. I thought that was pretty good. So we're still going to go with at least at the very least, and I'm quite sure the more time goes by, we're going to do it in Unreal Engine. And the reason is because while those things look good, what I'm hoping to do with Unreal Engine is something like this. So I don't know if I showed this last week or whatever the case may be. I think I might have. But in any event, those character faces are pretty good. The ones that are coming up are, I have to tell you, we went to the Star Citizen Convention in Austin back in October. And when they were showing us the new stuff, the character stuff was such an improvement. I actually began to think, wow, what the hell are we doing all this trouble for? But this is the kind of thing that we really can't do in Star Citizen as a machinima, as the custom uniforms, and we'll be able to get the faces we like and stuff. Anyway, I think here's what I decided I wanted to do. I had this thought really just on the way in to work earlier today. Work, it's, hard work that we do. And here's what I was thinking we would do. In order to keep our name out there, we still don't have the resources to do the things that I want to do in terms of the storytelling. And even though that lip sync that you just saw is first pass, badly calibrated, and improving every release, including next release, which should be significant improvement. Still, things don't look quite up to the snuff that I'd like to do. But so the problem is, between now and then, when we get the money we need in order to do this, I've essentially produced next to nothing since October, and I had an idea that I thought would be cool. And that's why I picked some of the theme music that I picked tonight, which is long overdue in terms of having new music anyway. So here's what I was kind of thinking we probably would start doing. Now, obviously, there's a lot of our organization watching the show, and a lot of people aren't, but this, as I said, is going to be kind of a gaming Stratosphere Lounge show night, so if you don't like it, apparently you can catch the end credits of the Steve Crowder show. Now, here's what would be cool. Given the quality of what we just did, or the lack thereof, but the fact that we can actually do speaking, expressions, they're a little broad and so on. What I would like to do in the very near future, when I say the near future, I mean maybe this weekend, is I want to do little mini machinimas, but I don't want to tell the main story. I don't want to tip all the cards yet. But I thought would be cool, though, would be to do little kind of gag things. And the first one I would want to do is this. In the Star Citizen game, there are a couple little racing machines. I should have gotten pictures of them. One of them is an M50, and the other one's called the Razor. And these are little hot rods. They're like dragsters. They're very, very fast. They're designed for racing, and they're very, very, very cool looking. Very cool looking. And I thought, okay, what we could do for the time being until we get, geared up here and ready to do the actual dramatic stuff is, I thought it'd be kind of fun to do like little music videos. And the one I want to do first is I want to do Shutdown, which is one of the songs I played at the beginning. And what I want to do is I want to have it be a race, but I want to have it be a race around this crater on this planetoid called Delamar. We did some test footage on that 6 months ago. And so what we would do is we would play that Beach Boys tune Shutdown, and instead of a fuel-injected Stingray and a 413, we'd have a Razor, which is a little lighter looking, and the M50, which is still very, very cool looking, and a little tiny bit heavier. And so what I would do is we would shoot it as a race. We just have the guys. We'd have like a whole team of guys out there in their spacesuits going around the cars, at the beginning, getting ready, looking under the hood, that kind of thing. Get in there, shut the canopies down, declining numbers at an even rate. At the count of one, we both accelerate, and off they go. And the M50 would just burn off to the lead, and he's saying, my Stingray is light, her slicks are starting to spin, but the 413's really digging in. And just not make any apologies for it, just do it. Cut it as a race around the rim of this crater, because if you listen to the song, the 413 super stock Dart 413 is ahead the whole race. And so you'd have the M50, which is a heavier looking little machine, going around the race, going faster, 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 and then you could get close-ups of the two pilots. And then when you've got that great line like, gotta be cool now, power shift, here we go, and then you just have like a kind of a determined look and then do a close-up of the guy kind of driving this thing into afterburners. And then as you come around the end of the circuit, back to the starting line, there's a group of people there and stuff. Then at the very last second, this little light blue Razor just suddenly just puts on this burst of speed, crosses the finish line, and that last line is He's hot with frame induction, but it's under. No, the last chorus is really cool. Pedal to the floor, hear those dual carbs drink, hear those dual carbs drink. Man, that's back when this was a great country. Now the 413's lead is starting to shrink. He's hot with frame induction, but it's understood. I got a fuel injected engine sitting under my hood, and then the razor just ekes past at the last second. Now, that would be the narrative of it, but the cool part about it is you're running around the rim of this crater, and with some good flying, we certainly have the pilots to do that. You can get these ships down on the deck so low that with full burners on, you're hauling ass, and that to me seems like something we could do now, easily. Get it out there, start to make a name for ourselves, kind of to whet the appetites for the big stuff that's coming. Obviously, make an announcement inside the Aurora game thing, and I'm sure we'll have no problems getting the players to do it, because I'm going to have to stand there basically and be the camera guy, and then 2 other people are going to have to fly, and then I'm going to have to fly in a camera chase and all the rest of it. The great thing about this is it will give those of you who've never had the opportunity to work on a movie before to experience just how unbelievably boring an experience it really is. For those of you who've never been on a movie set or ever been an actor in a movie or been in movies or television, the thing that you'll be most impressed with is how unshakably boring it really is. It's just honestly, hey, Convoy, I like it, Eric Blake. That is really cool. Convoy's a really great idea. I'll get to that in a second. So that's one thing we could do. We could do shutdown, and then now that we've got a little bit of facial motion capture as stuff in game. And with the next release, which is, again, going to be out in probably 2 to 3 weeks for testing, there's going to be actual female characters. So we could drive ourselves one of these little buggies out there, and we could have this female character with her arms up in the air, kind of, like dropping the flags to begin the race, and you'd have all it. And it would just look like a teeny hangout. And I'd want to shoot this thing. I'm just kind of doing off the top of my head here because I had this idea this afternoon. But we'd shoot the whole thing kind of like a surf movie where everybody took their buggies out to the middle of nowhere, like onto the sand dunes. So you'd have lots of little ships parked everywhere, and people milling around. That's what would really sell it, is just, people milling around and then just the whole thing is just action. The whole song is not, I don't think it's 2.5 minutes long. And then blow past the finish line. And then we would, we'd put it out there. We'd get some attention, and then we could do some other stuff. Eric Blake mentioned that we could, because I'm thinking of things that would be fun to do. And I don't want to do dialogue yet. I don't want to do anything like that yet. I just want to push the limits of the machinimas. I want to whet the appetite of people, to let them know what's coming. So I don't want to give away the game yet. Because I think we're pretty close to that. But Eric mentioned Convoy. That'd be an awesome song. Because you've got all these different ships. You got Star Citizen. I don't know, what is it? Is it 60 flyable ships or something like that? And just do Convoy. That's a freaking perfect idea, Eric. That's exactly, precisely the kind of thing that I'm talking about doing. And we'll just do a convoy. We'll just start out with one guy and a freelancer, and then he picks up another thing, and then they pick up more ships and more ships and more ships. Next thing you know, you got 40 ships in a ragtag, as Dave Booty says on cue, in a ragtag fugitive fleet. Merlin says it's closer to 80 flyable ships, and then just have them out there. And you have the police car ships, and we crashed the gate to an 88. I said, let them truckers roll, 10-4. And it's just, that's one of the most American songs ever. Convoy. Yeah. And we could even, now that song, unlike the Beach Boys song, Convoy, you could actually have the guy driving the rubber duck sing the song, and you could have the guy in the ship singing the song, because he's telling that song in first person. Same thing kind of for the Beach Boys, but the Beach Boys, I don't want to lip sync to it. But having the song, you know, it's just fun, and we can do it now. And we don't have to give away anything. We don't have to lower our standards on what I'd like to do in terms of the technology for the actual serious things. And I'll tell you another thought I had that would be fun, although not so interesting on account of you have to really be you have to be this guy. Hang on. You'll notice that this whole show is rendered in full 3D. One thing I thought would be really kind of fun to do would be to do the scene from 2001: A Space Odyssey, where they take where Haywood Floyd takes the moon shuttle, the Ares moon shuttle, the round one, and lands on the moon. And when I say recreate it, I thought shot for shot recreate it. There's a moon in Star Citizen called Cellin, which looks a good bit like the moon, and the only way that this would work, you'd use the Blue Danube, obviously, but the only way it would be interesting would be to match it frame for frame. So you would just recreate all the shots. There's I was thinking about the ship to use for that, and I was originally thinking we use a Freelancer, but the ship to use for that is called a 600i. It's a luxury. Touring ship, because you need one shot. There's one shot there where Haywood Floyd in 2001 is sitting there by himself. It's just a giant circular viewing place, and he's looking out the window. So with the 600i, we could have the guy just in his street clothes looking out the window. It'd be fun to have the pilots, because if you look carefully at the whatchamacallit, which I think I have here, actually. I was going to play it. Maybe I will. You know what? I think I will. I didn't get it preset, but since we haven't had any serious technical errors yet, I know people would be brutally disappointed. Give me 1 second of dead air, because otherwise people will become confused if we don't have that. Let me just see what we got here, if I can just drop that in there, and then I can kind of do like a narration on it. So we look at see, isn't this the show that we all remember so well? Did I put it on the desktop? If I did, I'll do it. If I didn't, I won't. Movies. I know I downloaded it. Well, obviously I didn't. Hold on. Yes, I did. Okay, so excuse me for one moment while I return you just for a moment to the Star Citizen intro. No, I can't even do that. I'm just going to have to do it live. So stay with me here. Hang on a second. It's just a pain in the butt, and that's all there is to it. So we're going to make ourselves a new scene, and we've done this before. And we'll call this 2001. Isn't this fun? Hey, stay with me. And now we're going to add the file. Hang on. It's on the desktop. Should be easy. Should be easy peasy. Desktop. Hang in there, gangaroos. Desktop, come on. This I just installed Mojave, and it made me have to restructure all kinds of things that I didn't want to restructure. Here we go. 2001: A Space Odyssey landing. Okay, we'll take that. Good. And then we will put this here. Good. And then we will expand the picture out, and then I'll be quiet. And then I'll be unquiet again. So we could recreate every one of these shots, shot for shot. And I'll just do kind of a quick narration. There's the shot where you've got this one guy. So you could just have a guy in a luxurious setting in this on this 600i, and he's just looking out the window, and you see the ground going below. And then, of course, you've got the great shot where the landing gear comes down. You can do all of this in Star Citizen with just getting a close-up of the ship. And when I say frame for frame, I mean to the frame. It's got to be just absolutely to the frame. And that's not how we do it. This is a 12-second shot, or no one's getting over. That's a 5-second shot. And you got a shot of them going down, and just recreate the whole thing. And it's just, I mean, this is a cool shot too, because that could be Crusader in the background, the gas giant, and you just kind of tilt down. You'd see the surface, kind of the sunrise. You do the whole landing, and so there we go. Let's see what else. See, now this is cool because the inside of the 600i actually looks like that. Guy on the left, guy on the right. There was a flight attendant in the center there, but you do the reversal, and then on Cellin, you know, there are these little bases. They don't look much like that at all, but there still are bases. Sorry about that. I got the message from Mr. Scott out late, so allow me to latify. How's that? Is that better? So anyway, and there's the far shot, and you'd have a couple guys on the moon, you know, doing those exact motions, pointing. For this one, you're stuck. You just have to. There's no opening pie chart base. You just have to, you know, just have to eat it, I guess. But yeah, it could be done, and it'd be fun, and it'd be in. And then now there's one other thing. I turned the music down. I thought people were being funny. Not Levski. We'll do this one on Cellin times Jev, you miscreant. No, Cellin is better. But anyway, you do all these gestures, do the whole thing from the inside of the cockpit. You see the thing going down like that, and you just do the landing. And of course, the best part is the landing gear compression at the end. That'd be cool to put in a little something there. I might just use that actual footage right there. Here it comes, here it comes, here it comes. And you'd have to stop right here because there's nothing after that. The stuff you just don't do because there's nothing to do. Could be kind of groovy. Could be kind of fun. That's all I'm saying. So this will give us something to do now, and get things out there. The convoy idea is a great idea. Doing things like this is a great idea. And then finally, and this one I did not download, but what would be really fun to do would be to do the end sequence from Buckaroo Banzai. Just have everybody in spacesuits out there walking across some scenic landscape. You know, you'd have to get the timing of the strides just right, and you'd have to get it again. You'd have to get it frame for frame. You'd have to have you get the four guys walking, and then you know, one by one the guys peel in, and yeah, this is Roy said choose a newer song, one to get the attention of younger people. This isn't for younger people. The whole thing that we're trying to do is for younger people. This is a kind of an in joke. And also more of a test, really, more of a like a production test, just to practice on the editing, the music, and get a bit of a name for ourselves, so that when we actually come out with the stuff that's done in Engine, in Unreal or whatever, then we will be in glorious shape. So there's a bunch of things that we can do like that. Yeah, I have to tell you, I was really pretty shocked at how much I liked that Star Citizen opening. Given how I just at 5:30, I thought, oh crap, let me try. I was going to just try out the thing. I brought the 60 frame per second webcam, which helps with the facial motion capture, and then when I saw it up there, I said, well, hell, what the hell? Let's just record it. And then when I thought about recording, I said, why don't we just record the opening to the show? And we got it done with about, we were 8 minutes late, but what else is new? Anyway. So we're gonna need actors and extras and things like that. And honest to God, it is just horrendously boring. So prepare yourself. But at the same time, it's really fun, and it'd be great for me to be the camera guy. And we would do it. The fun thing about this, actually, that is kind of neat, is doing the machinima is pretty much the way you would do an actual movie. Literally, you would have, and when I say literally, I mean literally. I don't mean figuratively. I mean literally. Let's say I go there as I'm not talking about role playing now. Bill Whittle goes to gets a Star Citizen session going with some of the regulars. And we go to a location that might be scenic. Let's say we go to Grimhex. And we got, 8 people, and we've got them in the costumes that we want them in, and we do all this other stuff. We have, people doing stuff in the foreground, and then in the background, you got people just walking through the shot talking to each other, and now we just do all those other things and so on. So, it really is a hurry up and wait. It's like, okay, let's try it again, and action, and okay, 2 background, go, and oh, well, guess what? Something glitched, or somebody, back again. Let's everybody go back to 1. Here we go, and then you just do it again and again and again. But when you edit it and you put some music behind it, it's actually pretty cool. And what would be fun would be during the show today. See, you may have noticed in the Star Citizen thing that there are a bunch of, well, what the hell? I mean, I said this was a gaming show, so it's a gaming show. So if you don't like it, you can just kiss my astronaut butt. Here's what we're gonna do. I'm gonna run that Star Citizen thing again. I'm gonna turn down the awesome volume, and then I'm the brilliant comments, but I am going to do like a little play-by-play like I just did with the 2001 thing. So let's have a look at that again, and I give you just a couple things of what I'm talking about here in terms of problems and potential solutions, because we can get stuff out the door now, and that would be kind of cool. So let's look at it again. I'm going to turn down the volume on the that I recorded live, and then we will, I'll show you what some of the potential problems are.
Oh, somebody's flying the...
Okay, so I've just turned the,
magic dragon
I can't hear this, so I have no idea what the balance level is. I'm going to just turn what I'm saying live way down so that you can hear me, and hopefully it'll just be background thing. Okay, so just looking at this stuff, hey, there's somebody going across the top, but you can see it's kind of a little jerky the way that moved along. I threw the background out of focus just a little bit for some depth of field. But this is this is like the very first location you find. There are a lot more interesting locations, and one of the things is going to be, oh, see, now watch. This is what I'm talking about. These things are pre-recorded motions, and our friend Foghorn here, who, if you happen to be watching live, is one of the 2 people who you probably, could borrow money from until he gets to know you better. But in any event, if you watch these, see him skid around there, see him slide. So they haven't got this fixed yet. They're working on it. But what's happening is that's a pre-recorded motion capture gesture. That's me turning my head around, looking around with the mouse. I'm just character standing there. And when I do the next of these pre-recorded gestures, you can even hear the tap on the keys when I call up one of these things. When it does it, it goes into, it shifts slightly. It doesn't, the transition in and out of these pre-recorded things is bad. And that's a real problem, actually. It's a pretty real problem. So let's just watch a little bit more. This camera move that you just saw, you will never see in a final product. And this is how we're going to make these things look better than, so watch. Watch. Point, freeze, slip, point, freeze, slip, point, slip. That's me looking around, not awful. But until they can get those motions smoothed out, and that one, for example, the reason that the camera moved was because the camera is attached to this guy. And so when he moves, the camera moves with him. Now, all of that problem, at least the movement problem, that little slide back and forth problem, would go away if it was me standing there filming somebody else. But since I'm filming myself, the camera is basically attached to me. So that move that you just saw, that's just me repositioning the camera. You will never see any of those moves in anything that I do. That is a computer game move, and movies do not have that, and neither does the real world. Never in the real world do you get to fly around and orbit around somebody. And all of the people that are trying to make these machinimas love that shot. They just think it's so cool. That's a dolly. It's not a zoom. That's a dolly in. That looked good. That's a dolly track left, or track right rather. Those kind of camera moves are good. Background's a little bit soft on purpose. Depth of field is there. The other thing that we'd have to learn how to do, it'd be fun when we'll see what the new update is with the new face. And not only are they improving the ability to customize the faces, but they're also improving the lip sync and the facial capture and stuff. But again, this is completely uncalibrated, and I suspect that what we're going to learn is that we're going to have an acting style that's just bigger than what we're used to. But all things considered, man, I have to tell you, man, woman, ladies, gentlemen, boys and girls, and that was fun. But look, now watch this. See, when I turn, after you turn about, 20, 30 degrees, the camera pivots. Now, if it were me standing there filming a second person, they could turn all the way around. I'd see the back of them. So that, again, is a big improvement. That happens to be a regular player in real time. I have no idea who it is. He's getting into a ship. I'm doing a couple of the animations, but watch, see, there's the fist pump, and then good, and then right there. There. That's got to go, but we can do a lot of that with editing, and they'll smooth that out too. So, there we go. It worked out pretty well, actually. So anyway, you can see that there are some real prospects. And yes, it was actually not a space burp, Dave Big Booty. Thank you for asking. I had bound they're called emotes, and I got, once again, you can only imagine my surprise to say that I got sidetracked. Foghorn, who is live here at the recording of the Stratosphere Lounge show, actually won a contest that we saw when we were in Austin. There was a contest to see which new motion capture emotes. These are anywhere from 2 to 3 seconds to maybe as long as 17, 15, 14, something like that. But Foghorn actually won the contest to have new emotes done. Was it 6? And during the convention, Foghorn went over to the motion capture area and directed the actors, and he basically did a bunch of new emotes. So those presumably will be included in the next release. And I want to say that when there 7, thank you. When there when they're included, I would guess there's probably on the order of maybe 30 of them. It just off the top of my head seems about right. But here's the problem, and this is a real problem, and I don't know what to do about this yet. There's no way in the game yet to do things like have a person reach out and touch something. They can point to something, and if they're standing in the right position, but you cannot, in other words, you cannot get any of the body motions. You can only get the pre-recorded motion capture emotes and use those. Now, the more of those they get, the better it works. When we get to the work we really want to be doing, we've got motion capture suit here, and we can do whatever we want to. But until then, just between now and releasing the first of these actual videos, using the existing emotes, we can probably do a pretty good job. There was that one time, which you may remember just a second ago, when I was turned around and I'm looking at the planet, and there's kind of a side shuffle. That's called an idle, and idles are great because nobody ever really stands completely still. But I'm really excited because, like I said, I just did it half an hour before we started the show. And while I do not want this to take the place of what we're going to eventually doing, although for God's sake, you want to, there are times when I think about, my God, how much work it would save. How much work it would save. But you've still, I don't know, I still think a big part of the appeal of this is making them better than the game. They got to look like cutscenes, so we're going to stick to that plan. But as an interim thing to release finished product, that'd be kind of cool. So anyway, that was the first 51 minutes of our program tonight, and I thought it was a lot of fun. JC2K says we need women in game first. You're absolutely right, and they are coming in about 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. The next version of the game to be released, 3.5, is going to be, well, I almost said contractually, but after, was it 2017, which was the year of waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting. Might be ready tomorrow, we'll see. It was just a catastrophe. I know they must have been losing a lot of members and enthusiasm. And so what they did at the end of late in 2017, they did something really good. And that was they made a commitment to release a new version every 3 months, once a quarter. Whatever would be in it, but they were going to release it every 3 months, and that is just great. So sometimes things get dumped and pushed back and moved forward and so on, but every 3 months we get a new version, which usually have significant improvements. The improvements coming up in 3.5, which as I said, are almost contractually required to be made available to everybody by the end of March. It's already end of February, so they'll start releasing it to this small group called the Evocati in the next couple days. And then people like Foghorn and Known Miscreant and many others and myself get it next because we're backers of the game. And then finally, after we knock the bugs out of it, it goes live to everybody. And that has to happen right around the 1st of April, end of March. So within the next 2 or 3 weeks, we should be able to start getting female characters in there. We will definitely be able to do better looking faces. With the women and stuff, it'd be great. Now, all I wish we could do is customize. If we could customize the suits and the ship colors, we'd be in damn good shape. Anyway, all right. So that was actually a lot of fun. And those of you who are either watching on YouTube or have no idea what we're talking about, I completely understand. However, if you happen to be one of the people who are members of the Stratosphere Lounge community and also of the Star Citizen Aurora community, you can go to aurorarepublic.space, see what it's all about. You don't have to know the game to to play the game, you don't have to be a pilot. You don't have to be any of those things to have fun, and even anybody can walk through a scene. Did I mention I saw? I don't think I mentioned it. I saw, I saw Elita, Battle Angel, and a couple things about that. First of all, I was really looking forward to it because it had that kind of robotic, kind of sexy, dark future that I've been doing renderings of for well over a year now. And so I saw the movie, and I learned a couple things from Elita. First of all, you've heard me bitching and moaning and complaining for 10 years now how stupid and bothersome it is to see a 5'2" woman who's 80 pounds soaking wet beating up these 6'3" guys. And to be perfectly honest with you, I did wonder, is that part of it just like me just being an old fogey and just not being able to buy the whole idea? Well, in this movie, this young teenage girl beats the snot out of people, and I loved it. I thought it was great. I liked her, and I was on her side. So it turns out that my criticism of this is, in fact, legitimate criticism. If it's a robot or a superhero or something like that, then knock yourself out. Not only am I not going to object to it, I thought it was cool. It's just when you try to convince me in real life that this kind of thing happens. But aside from that, it was just a not a good movie. It just wasn't. It had potential to be, but it was very. The lead guy was just, he's supposed to be kind of this street sort of, kind of tough, and he looked like, he looked a little too Pillsbury Doughboy for me. But the problem with Elita was it is also, and this is something important, believe it or not. Elita Battle Angel reminded me a great deal of Ready Player One. And James Cameron's the producer of this, and Roy Hamill says, no 5'3", 90-pound girl can beat you up. Absolutely right, Roy. But a cybernetic warrior with a nuclear power plant for a heart that could run the whole city, I bet she could do it. But the problem with Elita is the same problem as Ready Player One, and that is that it's just way too sterile. It is James Cameron's, and I hoped for a little better out of Rodriguez, but he's just too mainstream. Cameron and Spielberg's view of what the internet, I just didn't like Ready Player One. Visually, it's spectacular, but I remember where I was going with this. I remember when I did a segment on Ready Player One. There was a scene where you go into this oasis, into this universe thing, and everybody has their avatar, and the avatars are spectacular, and it's really cool, and lots of little in-jokes in there, cool little things, the Lost in Space robot and the Batmobile and all that stuff, and you see them walking down this hall, and I remember thinking, well, now I know it's not a computer game because nobody walks in computer games, everybody's running all the time, and since this is the dork episode, and I'm going to not be ashamed of these kind of things on this particular one, this is the thing that destroys the realism and the immersion of games, Star Citizen especially. You can tell in Star Citizen that in the room there are people walking around and moving at a normal speed, and those are not real people. The real players are running full tilt as fast as they can to get from point A to point B, and no matter how hard I try to not do that, I end up doing it anyway. It's unbearable. Nobody wants to walk down a corridor and take 2 minutes to get to their ship so they can take off, when they can do it at a dead sprint in 30 seconds. But it's the fact that everybody's running that ruins the experience. So this is one advantage to making movies. In the little machinimas that we're going to do, interim machinimas, we'll just have everybody walk. And just having them walk, just that alone makes it look a whole lot better. Otherwise, we just go as fast as we possibly can. And so you see people running here, running there, running. It's, Foghorn says he often walks in Star Citizen, but that's because he's retired now and his cartilage is mostly gone. And I was wondering what the hell you could do about that, and I don't really know. But anyway, so Elita was just very sanitary and sanitized, and I did a right angle on Oats Studio, which is Neil Blomkamp's experimental theater thing. And I cannot recommend this highly enough, even though I find Neil Blomkamp to be just a really nasty, un-American, D-bag. But he's doing stuff in the Unreal Engine, in the Unity Engine, which along with the Unreal Engine are the two primary real-time graphic engines that are available to folks like us. And he's doing photorealistic work in Unity. And the reason I think he's interesting is because in an interview, he said that the future of entertainment, I'm coming off of watching a couple of, silent clips from the last Academy Award nightmare. And Blomkamp said that that the future is going to be a melding of movies, television, and video games. And he's absolutely right. And if you get a chance, I cannot recommend this highly enough. Just look for Oats Studio, OATS. He's done, I want to say 5, but at least that many. 1 episode, 2 episodes, or 3 episodes of 5 different science fiction short series. And they're awfully good. They're really, really, really good. There's one called, what is that damn thing called? Let's consult the Wayback Machine. And I can't see the comments just yet, but I will in a minute, and then we'll go get some questions and we'll call it a night. But does anybody know whether or not Twitch automatically pulls files that are copyrighted the way that YouTube does? Because I'm hoping that they don't, because I want to do the Beach Boys thing, and I don't want frickin' YouTube. It's not going to be on my channel anyway, but still. So Oats Studio. Sorry. I put the sound on the space bar, and so when I typed in something, I got the space bar. Sorry about that. So Firebase was okay. Raqqa is great. It's about these reptilian aliens that are taking over the Earth, and they can hypnotize you. And Sigourney Weaver's in it, and it's just really cool. It's just a 1 episode, 20-minute episode, but there's more coming, presumably. It's just great. There's one called Zygote with 1 episode, which is Dakota Fanning, and it's set in like a research station, and the monster in that thing is a freaking terrific, unbelievably great monster. There's a one called Pretoria, which is kind of a, kind of a Warhammer fantasy kind of thing. There's one called Gdansk. It's 2 minutes long, and it is the most compelling thing I have ever seen. It's just so damn good. It's just really, really good. They've got something called Capture, which is a, he has a real attitude about weapons and Americans and stuff, and that's just the way it is. But of all the things he's done, he's done this thing called Adam, and there are 3 different episodes of Adam, and Adam is done entirely in the Unity engine. It is very, very, very good. Visually, there are a lot of moments in Adam, episodes 1, 2, and 3, that I have a hard time believing it's done in engine. I have a hard time telling it's not real. Sometimes some shots I can tell are obviously computer generated, but some of them are just so good that I just can't. And it gets, that was posted a year ago, so figure 2 years ago was made, and the technology by now is just that much better. So I really do believe this is the future of entertainment. I think it looks like this. What he's done, and by the way, Christian Bale in Adam episode 3, so, Christian Bale, Sigourney Weaver, Dakota Fanning, he's smart enough to use big name actors in these things, but in the very near future, nobody's going to care about big name actors. It's just not going to mean anything anymore. But the Adam series is actually just not just visually good, it's deep and weird and cool. And they're 6 minutes, and so they're serials. So this is exactly what I've been wanting to do for a couple of years now. Adam, not Atom, Adam. It's about people whose brains have been imprisoned in robot bodies, and there's kind of a messiah, and it's great. And when he was doing his, kind of a behind the scenes thing, he was saying, I'm interested in the nature of humanity. If your brain is in a vat of formaldehyde, are you still human? Are you human if you can move? And, it's just great. So, and Foghorn says voice actors are going to come to a level of prominence. Me thinks so too. Beautiful thing about this kind of thing is that if you had, same situation you have with The Simpsons, right? I mean, you got 30 iconic characters generated essentially by 3 people, I mean, Hank Azaria, Harry Shearer, and Dan Castellaneta do 90% of the voices on that show. And so you have a couple good voice actors. You just keep changing it. So anyway, they're really worth it. They're just superb, and this is the world that we're entering in. If you get a chance to watch the Adams 1, 2, and 3, they're just very good, and the third one especially. But if you just want to see a short, Gdansk is just so disturbing. It's fantastic. They're dark, and the Raka with Sigourney Weaver I just think it's great. I mean, it looks, I don't want to say it looks, I don't want to say it looks low budget. It's just so gritty and real that seeing Sigourney Weaver in it at first, I thought, holy crap, that's Sigourney Weaver. Because on some level, it almost looks like a student film, but at the same time, it looks like a student film because it looks like it's shot on, on a GoPro, and I'm telling you, this is the future. This is where it's coming from. We're gonna do it. They're gonna do it. Everybody's gonna do it. We're gonna put these things together, and we're gonna release them. And there's gonna be you'll have a series of season 1 will be 10 episodes, 6-7 minutes each, maybe 12, and you've got a movie there. It's just not all at once, and you just binge watch it. So I am feeling very much like I'm in the right place at the right time, and I have to tell you, boy, after the last year and a half, I have had moments of exceedingly large doubts, but the more I look at it, the more I believe it, and that rat bastard Scott Ott has actually made the website look like it's going to work and probably saving the company. We actually have a bank account. I have a bunch of envelopes on my desk here of people who've made donations. Some of them are for $2, which is probably not going to get us a long way in terms of the budget, but is a big indication of how much people believe in this idea. The writing on Oates, Edward Smith asked, and the writing on Oates it's excellent. It's just excellent. It's not over the top. It's not like Ready Player One. It's just real, gritty, and you know, I would say definitely Rocca for the writing. They've got a bomb maker there, and this guy's a great actor, and I believe him, and I believe everybody in it, and I believe the special effects. Special effects are fantastic, but they're not about the special effects. Anyway, this is the world that is coming and the world that we're moving to, and once we raise the money to get this thing started as a entertainment workshop, then we're going to go right after Big Bad Problem money, and we'll start doing live action films. So this was a big dream for a long time, and it doesn't feel like a dream anymore. I really think that now I am really, really ready to go. And my thinking has been improved enormously in the last several months, largely with the help of hypnotherapy, of all things, if you can imagine. It's amazing how these scripts and blocks that we have just run our lives from, you know, something happened to you when you're 6, and you keep following that script when you're 60. So I had to get a lot of money issues out of the way. Not just to go looking for big money for these things, but also in terms of the membership. I always felt like, geez, I don't want to go out there with my hat in my hand. I've not checked out the Studio Blumhouse yet, Eric. But anyway, 60 is the new 7. Thank you, Dave Big Booty. That's great. That's good to know. And then there's the whole, you know, crowdfunding thing too. So we always have the crowdfunding option for the Aurora project. It's the option I want to use last. I will get to a couple questions, but this is the last of the monologue part. And this is the issue, and it's great because I get to see live feedback. Here's the issue. Up until a couple years ago, you could make a fan film, and there really nobody did anything about it. Not only the first one that I clearly remember. Well, we made a, you know, so my friend Fritz pointed this out to me. We made a Star Trek parody in 1979. On Super 8. So that's pretty old for fan film. But they're out there, and there are hundreds of them, thousands and thousands of them, and I thought, okay, so we'll do fan films set in the Star Citizen universe, and what can they do? Nothing. They can't do anything. Because the deal is, as long as you don't make money, as long as you credit the copyright owners, there are thousands and thousands of these things out there using the term Jedi Knights and USS Enterprise and all the rest of these copyrighted terms. And I was pretty comfortable with this. And then all of a sudden, I was talking to a friend of mine named Gary Graham, actor, and he was telling me about a fan film project he was working on called Star Trek Axanar. And I saw the trailer for Star Trek Axanar, which is, I want to say, is about 20 minutes long. It's set in the period just before the original series, in the same way that Star Trek Discovery is presumably set just before the original series, except that it's set in some world that has nothing to do with the original series, and it's just Star Trek Discovery is, you know, is what Star Trek would have been if Gene Roddenberry had been a transvestite costume designer. Yes, that Gary Graham. He's a great guy, real good guy. So Gary told me about this thing he's working on. He's playing a Vulcan in it again, and I saw this trailer called Prelude to Axanar, and this was just about the same time that they were starting to get production going on Discovery. This is 3-4 years ago now, I guess, 2-3 years ago, something like that. And I saw Prelude to Axanar, and I thought, this is fantastic. This is just great. There was that guy who did the version of the original series shows. I've forgotten which Star Trek it was. Is it New Voyages? Where he plays Captain Kirk and Spock, and he looks more. There are times in that, I forget his name now. It'll come to me. Somebody will give it to me. But Star Trek Continues. Thank you. And that guy, the guy who played Kirk on that, there are times when he looks so much like William Shatner that it just take your breath away. But the writing was miserable. But it looked so much like the original series. It was great. Anyway, Axanar's got actual, genuine, real actors in it, and plus Gary Graham as well. And because the acting is so good, and because the writing was so good, and the guy who put the thing together is playing Garth of Izar, who's like a legendary Starfleet tactician from the original series. And the guy looks kind of like a pharmacist. Vic Mingania, Vic. He did an amazing job. This is amazing what they did. It looked more like Star Trek than Star Trek did. But anyway, the guy who's doing the Axanar thing plays Garth of Izar. Who I always thought Garth of Izar was going to look like, look cool. And like I say, he looks like a pharmacist. But he's the guy who's actually doing it. And I thought, oh, crikey, okay, here's a vanity thing again. But the guy's a damn good actor, actually. And his Garth is really interesting. Really, 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 really interesting. And they have Richard Hatch, and they've got, and they got great actors in it. And so anyway, all of this, blah, 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 blah. I'm feeling comfortable about all this stuff. And then for the first time that I'm aware of, the studios come down on a fan film and basically sue them to prevent them from doing this. Star Trek Continues did 6 or 7 episodes. Dagger of the Mind is what it was. And nobody bothered them. So all of a sudden, the next thing you know, CBS is suing the people who are making Prelude to Axanar. And I didn't know why. And then suddenly, when I saw it, and then when I saw Star Trek Discovery, I realized the reason CBS is suing Axanar is because it is much, 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 much better than Discovery. I'm just reading here. Cody MacArthur says Star Trek Continues dude is being falsely accused of all sorts of things, lost every job he's had. Really? Vic, what's his name, was falsely accused. He seemed like a really cool guy. His scripts were a little progressive. But anyway, so Eric just points out that it's back on. It is. Axanar's back. I saw the guy who's doing Axanar. I saw it this morning. He did an update. They're delivering their patches. They're going to do another raise. They're going to have a 4-day shoot. And they've got the Bridge of the Ares. It's a ship that just precedes the Constitution class Enterprise. And so they're getting ready to shoot this thing, so they're back on. But I know that they lost 2 years, and they lost a lot of money. He said they lost a lot of money, and he had the courage on this video update, the guy behind Axanar, to say, we lost a lot of our donors' money in lawsuits against CBS because CBS tried to shut them down. Now it has me wondering. So, 3 weeks ago, maybe a month ago, there's an announcement, Star Citizen official announcement saying that they are going to release something called the Fan Kit, which will include a bunch of ships from the thing and posters and artwork. And here are the logos for all of the corporations inside the thing. And we already been using those for 8-9 months. And so they're saying we want the community to make projects. We really like the idea of communities making projects. I'm thinking, yay, problem solved. And then they say, but we would like you to have this little bug on it that says made by the community. And I hate that term. I'm not just not going to use it. I'm more than happy to use the credit at the beginning. Star Citizen is, the product of Cloud Imperium Games, all rights reserved. They are the copyrights. Play the game. It's fantastic. Promote the game, all of it. But made by the community? No, it's not made by the community. It's made by the people that made it. And more disturbing to me is the fact that they say, oh, and by the way, we just like script approval. And that's when I really started to get nervous. So what they've really done is they've kind of tried to lay the groundwork for saying, sure, we'll let you make whatever you want to. Absolutely, we love it. In fact, we'll give you some of the assets. But we want to approve the script first. And what if they don't like the script? And what if I want to use assets that are not included in the kit? And on and on and on. And it seems to me like it might be kind of a preemptive kind of a way to say, no, we're all about fan films. Love it. I think it's great. But you're going to be under our control. And I don't really like that. So then the question becomes, well, what's the worst case? Would they actually do what CBS did? Would they actually try to sue people? It doesn't seem likely. I don't know. But, we'll see. I figured out a long time ago, obviously I'm not keeping this secret, but I'm not exactly putting it on Facebook yet either. So I think the plan is to go ahead and just proceed as if, I think I'm going to go with I would rather ask for forgiveness than permission. And here's the worst case scenario. And I really mean this. The thing you just saw, the Star Citizen thing you just saw, the game is amazing. It's amazing. But and Chris, if you're watching, because I know you must be, but the writing and the lore, the background of the game is terrible. So it's been public ESOP. It's not like I've been hiding it, but I'm not really pushing it wide yet either. So the mechanics of the game is brilliant, and the work on the ships, the ships are fantastic. The suits are great. The landscapes, the planets are fantastic. I've had some amazing experiences, watching the sun come up on planets and racing dune buggies, unbelievable experiences, and made even more memorable by the fact that I had a wonderful time despite the company. But nevertheless, they were really great. And so I realized that the whole thing that really matters is the story. It's the writing. It's the characters. And if it really came down to no, you will put the community thing on there and we will pre-approve your script, and if we don't like the script, we're not going to do it, and we don't like the script, so no. Then I think you basically just say, well, they tried to do it with Star Trek, and all it did was it cost them a lot of fan support. But my ultimate fallback situation is, if I have to, then we'll make these videos about a universe called Citizen of the Stars. And we won't go to Planet Hurston. We'll go to Planet Houston. And we won't use their ships. We'll get model makers to design our own. And I don't think it's going to come to that. I really don't. And these are things I worry about sometimes, because sometimes you have to worry about things. What the hell? By the way, I'm just curious. What was Vic accused of? Because I know when he folded the show, he put so much time into it. The guy who did Star Trek Continues. I don't know anything about the guy personally, but I admire him enormously. It's just a dream of his for his entire life, and he just did a brilliant job with it. And now I know they closed down the thing, but I got the feeling that he was just out of ideas, didn't want to. And now everybody in the comment section is saying that this guy Vic, who I admire very much, is been blackballed and accused of all of these other things, fired by everybody, being accused of of kissing people consensually. Okay. Sexual harassment allegations. Okay. Now I'm interested. Hang on a second, folks. I got to just follow this link. Kissed, groped, and made unwanted comments to fans without their consent, some of whom were underage. Okay. So he's being accused of sexual harassment. He categorically denies them. All right. Look, I don't know what happened. I don't know what happened. So let me just say that very clearly. I don't know what happened. But as Cody MacArthur-Fett said, his crime was that he was being accused. And having been accused of being a racist and all the rest of this stuff, I am sympathetic to Vic no matter what he's accused of. I'm sympathetic to anybody who's been accused of this stuff. And when these companies do this kind of, we've cut all complete ties, we had no idea, not the slightest idea, we just wish he would die of cancer. I'm not impressed by any of that stuff. You say he won't sign anime gay porn. I don't understand what that means. You don't get blackballed for not agreeing to do anime gay porn. The fact that he's an open Christian is a lot closer to what I suspect is going on. Okay. So, if somebody could just clue me in on this. If Vic is a Christian and if he's being criticized and being run out on a rail because he's a Christian, then I want to talk to the guy. I want to talk to him. I respect him enormously. And look, and you have to be careful too. I mean, there's a chance that there's some actual serious allegations here, and I don't want to just throw my hat in here into the ring and say, the guy's a wonderful guy. I have no idea. Maybe he did something heinous. I don't know. But he's accused of homophobia, really? No, I don't buy that. I don't. Anyway, this is interesting to me because I have a very high level of admiration for the work that he did. And if he is being prosecuted by the gay mafia, then I would certainly like to talk to him. Someone drew gay porn of one of the characters he voices. Oh, okay. So when you say sign gay porn, George is saying somebody drew gay porn of one of the characters that he voices, and they expected Vic to sign it, and he decided not to, because I have seen. So FS Morris says if you don't want to sign anime gay porn, that means you're homophobic. So I'm putting the pieces together. And I'm going to simply assume from the pieces that I'm getting is that he was a voice actor in some anime, a fan-made drawing of, back in the ancient days we used to call this slash. Slash is like just a very sick kind of fan fiction where it's Kirk / Spock having a romantic relationship, or Harry Potter / what's his face. So if somebody says, "Hey Vic, here's a gay pornographic picture that I drew based on your character. I'd love to have you sign it for us," and he says, "I'm sorry, no, I won't. I don't really want to be a part of that. That's not the character that I play, and I find this distasteful." therefore burn him, then that's telling me that that this guy, that I need to talk to him. Not that he needs my help in any way, but okay. So, yeah, if anybody knows how to reach him, I'd like to talk to him. And I don't need to talk to him on camera. I'd just like to talk to him as somebody who's been slandered this way. I know what it's about. Yeah, Vic Mignogna. I had no idea. Poor guy. Does anybody know if that's why they shut down the Star Trek thing? Because I think that must have happened afterwards, right? Okay, so I'm seeing more and more of this. I see exactly what's happening. I don't know why. I guess it's because I guess because I work for you guys. But I mean, I've had people cancel speaking engagements when they heard about what a scientific Nazi I was. But I've never had any of this stuff happening to me, and he's suing him and he's fighting back. Well, this is yet another case of the left whipping the horses of their own destruction to head over as fast as they can over a cliff. That's disgusting. Well, I'm gonna look into this some more. Poor bastard. And by the way, I know what he's going through. I mean, I really do. I don't want to sound like I just when you see your name on the LA Times and the Charlotte Observer and the Chicago Tribune, and there's a picture of you and it says this guy's a racist. It's a special feeling. Special feeling. I'll start looking for the YouTube videos on him. All right, so look, it's 7:30. I'm a little tired. I know I haven't done anything yet. Let me do like 2 questions. It's been kind of a fun night, and I don't want people to be upset about not getting to questions, but we're not going to get to too many questions, so don't be upset. In fact, I might just get to one. I'm really quite tired, and there's a lot of things that I would like to look into. So let's see what's going on here. We'll take 2 or 3. I'll go through them as fast as I can. And then, you know what? Here's what we'll do. We'll do this next week as well, okay? How about that? We will make this a one of the 2-parters that we have not done in a long time. I think we did a 3 or 4-parter once. So I will, how about if I take these questions next week? Yes. Sorry. That's what I'm going to do, just because I'm beat. And it's been a lot of fun and a bunch of stuff. So I'm going to take the questions that you left there tonight. Next week we will do another gaming entertainment thing, and just repost the questions, and I'll do pretty much nothing but questions next week. I've just been playing around with a lot of stuff here and a lot of things that were just interesting to me. So I hate it when we don't do any questions, but by God, we're not going to do any questions because I'm tired. I want to go home. I'll tell you what, though. If you have any ideas about what we can do for machinimas, not the big scripted stuff, we pretty much got that, working on for a while. But I liked Convoy. Any other ideas that you think might work would be great. And I'm hoping to start recording footage over the weekend. So for those of you that are part of the Star Citizen thing, I think it'll be good. All right. So I hope you enjoyed the show. I certainly enjoyed it. It was nice to have new walk-in music. It was nice to see the how well that Star Citizen thing turned out. It was really quite spooked. And Dave Big Booty says, fun needs to be worked into the Star Citizen thing. It does, but believe it or not, Dave, honest to God, I've got fun teed up for like the last episode of the first season. It's actually, fun is actually going to be the moment when this guy, got him, might as well use him again. Is the pointer showing up? Probably not. When Boyd in the center, he's gonna, at the end of the first season, he's working for the United Earth Empire. There is no Aurora Republic yet for the whole first season. You got to tell the backstory first, and then he makes a decision that he's going to basically, he's not going to become a traitor. He's going to resign his commission in the UE Navy and join this fledgling republic, and he's going to do it based on the fact that this trillionaire convinces him that it's a good idea, and then he gives him the keys to a 1965 ice blue Corvette Stingray. Funny is how things work. I was thinking about this earlier today as well. I was thinking about this exact scene. So you got this guy Boyd in the center there. He gets in this car, and he's on an island that's owned by this guy. There are open roads. He's given the keys to the car. Boyd's not a huge, enormous car fan, but the fact that he's driving an internal combustion engine is impressive. And the guy who's trying to recruit him says, "Here, just take her for a spin." And he tosses him something, and he catches it. And then the rich guy leaves, and the garage door opens, and Boyd's in the 65 Corvette. And in his hand is a cassette tape, and he doesn't know what it is. But at the same time, he's not an idiot, and he's looking at this thing, and he sees the thing in the dash. I know they didn't have them in 65, but that Generation 1 Corvette, beautiful car. And he takes this thing and he figures out to put it in there, and then nothing. So he pops it out and figures out it can go in the other way, puts it in, hits play, fun. And then he's driving down the streets of this beautiful, clean planet Earth, because unlike every other science fiction story, the Earth is not dying. The Earth is not garbage heap. It's beautiful. It's stunning. I'll show you some models of cities that are fantastically clean future. And so we're going to, no, the Earth didn't die. It never died. We didn't run out of petroleum. We didn't run out of anything. And he's going to be driving along the coast with the top down, his hair blowing in the wind. He's going to be listening to fun on the radio. And he's just going to say, yeah, this is what I want. I was busy teeing up something or other just before we sign off here. Does anybody know if Twitch is doing that kind of automatic flagging things for things like fun? Because on YouTube, you put it up and you get a big red flag, and you get enough of those, and you get a warning. And the last thing I need to do is be shut down by that. But I'm hoping that Twitch is a little more cool in it, saying, hey, if you want to run, it does have it. You can play music that is copyrighted usually. Okay, so it's in and out. We'll see. Look, I'm not making any money off of it. It's not like I'm taking Beach Boys money away. Yeah, we'll do a test. But if rather than having the thought police, you have used copyrighted material. It's like, look, man, I'm using a well-known song, and I'm not making any money off of it, and it's from the 60s, and if anything, I am encouraging people to buy it. So, we'll see. Same thing with I Know a Place. I've never, ever been able to use that song, not once in 200 and how many ever episodes. I've never been able to use it on the air because it's copyrighted, and I don't think Petula Clark would mind much, actually. Anyway, that'll do it. you can play it here. Hooray! I can play it on Twitch. But since I post this on YouTube, I can't do it. And what's going on here? And so blah, 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 blah. Yada, yada, yada. Boom, boom, boom. Yeah, Twitch is the future, man. YouTube can just... We got 100 and some thousand subscribers there, but we're going to make the move to the purple, and we're already on the purple. And by the way, for those of you who are interested, there is an Aurora Republic channel here on Twitch, and our friend Foghorn has done a number of instructional videos on things like actual fighter pilot terminology on the radio, brevity codes, how to sound like a fighter pilot, how to talk like a fighter pilot, how to fly like a fighter pilot, tactics, strategy. He's got a whole string of them out there. They're really cool. My recordings will flag, live streams will not, says Foghorn. That's on Twitch. Well, screw it. Then flag. I don't care. We'll figure it out. Anyway, that'll do it. I really had a lot of fun opening the show with that business from Star Citizen. That was just really cool. And Scott Otts, whatever his name is, watched the whole Stratosphere Lounge on the new Bill Whittle beta site without incident, all systems nominal. So we will be making the move there. And in March, we will be doing two things. We will be doing our Remember campaign for those of you who are members and have slipped off and want to slip back on again. We got you covered, and we've been looking very seriously about what we want to do with that. And we're also going to do a fundraiser for to get Scott out of selling furniture. That's going to cost us literally hundreds of dollars. All right. So that'll do it. Yeah, it was really fun, and we will see you next Thursday on the Stratosphere Lounge Show. It's been great talking to you, and we will see you next week, I reckon.